Tonight on News 5 Live, PM Briceño says that with a decrease in the cost per barrel of oil on the international market, Belizeans may be relieved at the pump after GOB recoups lost revenue in excise. Omicron BA.5 is the newest strain of COVID-19 that has been detected in Belize. Health officials tell you what to expect of the latest variant. And September celebrations, a new theme has been unveiled. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new SmartStream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, SmartStream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with SmartStream.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome.
Oran Windows.
Welcome.
Tiles from around the world.
Welcome.
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coating. Visit us today at Mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
Todo beliceño merece tener una conexión de internet de calidad, rápida y confiable en su hogar. Para clases en línea y trabajo desde casa, es la nueva forma de vida. Diginet es el proveedor número 1 de servicio de fibra óptica, impulsando la transición digital de Belice. Y ahora nuestro servicio de Diginet es aún más accesible con nuestro nuevo plan de entrada. Por tiempo limitado, tú y tu familia pueden disfrutar de 20 megabits por segundo por solamente $49 mensuales. No más clases perdidas ni reuniones virtuales interrumpidas. Te está costando mucho tiempo y dinero. Diginet es mejor que cualquier opción de cable o servicio inalámbrico. Visita cualquier Digistore hoy y suscríbete para la conexión más rápida y confiable de Internet para el hogar en Belice. Ven a ver lo que te has estado perdiendo. El mismo servicio de fibra de alta calidad, rápido y confiable, ahora a un precio aún más bajo. Para más información, visita www.livedigi.com/Diginet. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
To vote for your favorite contestant, smart users will text the number of votes followed by a space and the contestant's number and send to smart code 5885. Each vote costs 50 cents. Voting ends on Sunday at midnight.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, July 13th. I am Sabrina Daly. The global oil price is now reportedly below $100 per barrel after falling by $7 today amid decreasing demand. In speaking with reporters today, Prime Minister John Briceño explained that, consequently, the price of fuel on the local market is expected to see a gradual decrease. He then went on to note that the government of Belize must first recover the revenues it lost after decreasing the excise duty for diesel and regular gasoline as a relief to Belizeans. And according to Christopher Koyi, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, these losses amounted to over $8 million in the last 3 months alone. So while the acquisition cost of fuel may go down gradually, the decrease will not be reflected at the pumps until GOB recoups its expenses. Here is how PM Briceño explained it.
We have to hold it on as long as we possibly can. I believe the price of fuel is the price of crude oil is starting to go down in the world market. I think yesterday it was at $95 US a gallon. A barrel. So with that, we expect that the prices are starting to go down slowly. The idea, as I mentioned earlier, is to hold it at a price at where it is right now, and as the price of the acquisition cost of fuel goes down, we still want to hold it for a bit to be able to recoup some of the expenses or the tax dollars that we lost, because at the end of the day, we do need the revenues to be able to provide the services to the Belizean people. We said from the beginning, and we never shied from that. I've said it many times that the idea was to set up a fund from central bank, so as we reducing the tax, we could try to replace it. We did not do that right now. But that when the prices start to go down, we can keep it there to try to get back some of it, not all of it, some of it, and then start to work on bringing down the price of fuel.
The Briceño administration, through its CARICOM counterparts, is once again looking to Venezuela for oil relief. A decision was taken at the 43rd regular session of the heads of government of CARICOM to restart the Petrocaribe program with Venezuela. The U.S. itself is in talks with Venezuela, which has reportedly resulted in the Biden administration easing restrictions on Venezuelan oil over the last couple of months. According to PM Briceño, this was one of the topics CARICOM heads discussed with President Biden at the recent Summit of the Americas.
The good news is that we've been talking through CARICOM to Venezuela and to the United States about asking the United States to ease up some of its restrictions with Venezuela, and that we may have an opportunity to get the Petrocaribe program going once again. Maybe it might not be as generous as it was before, but we're still looking at maybe like paying 70 cents on the dollar or something like that. But that by itself is going to be a big help should we be able to convince the Americans to ease up on the restrictions that they have against Venezuela. We brought it up when we met with President Joe Biden and Vice President Harris at the Summit of the Americas. That was one of the topics that we believe that that they should ease up the restrictions and also allow Trinidad and to be able to work with Venezuela, because they have large fields of natural gas, and because of what they have against the sanctions against Venezuela, Trinidad is not able to access the natural gas.
A $5 minimum wage increase will likely come to pass before the end of 2022. As we have reported, the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry supports a gradual increase in the minimum wage to $5, guided by an established formula. On the other hand, Prime Minister Briceño says his administration is prepared to raise the minimum wage to $5 from $3.30 in keeping with commitments of Plan Belize. Notwithstanding the Prime Minister's apparent reluctance to embrace the suggested gradual increase, He conceded that a $5 increase will in fact come with its own challenges, and that an established mechanism can serve to inform future adjustments.
What we did, what we said in Plan Belize, that we prepared to raise the minimum wage to $5. But we do recognize that there must be some kind of mechanism where you can take periodic looks at the minimum wage and whether any adjustments needs to be done.
Because the 5 is not enough, and I think there are some people who are saying that, I think Dylan Renault in 2008 or so was talking about a $6 then, and we're just at 5
But then the
now.
land Renault shut up about when the UDP government get into government.
Yeah.
The UDP was in government. But the point I want to make is that we understand that, but we also have to be realistic. We could go and say raise the minimum wage to $10, to $20, to $30. But what would happen then to businesses? They're going to shut down, and then it will create an incredible amount of inflation that can lead us to devaluation. So we have to find this balancing act that we have to do, that we can't raise the minimum wage faster than what the economy could absorb. And at this time, even at the $5, it is going to create some difficulties because, for instance, then that means that people that go and work in the homes and clean homes, for instance, they have to be paid $5 an hour. And so some housewives, it can be difficult for them to be able to some families will be difficult now to start to continue to pay their people that come to their house to clean and to cook and so.
Belizeans are paying more for basic food items at the store. According to the Statistical Institute of Belize's Consumer Price Index report in May 2022, the overall cost of goods and services in Belize has increased by almost 7% in the last year. For families across the country, this means a dollar is worth less than what its value at the market was a year ago. When asked what words he can offer to households experiencing trying economic circumstances, Prime Minister Briceño had this to say about his administration's efforts in response to inflation.
We know what they're going through. We understand, and that as a government we're trying to do everything possible to be able to help them. We're trying to see how we can control the price gouging. We're trying to work on the issue of the duties that are being charged on these products. The government has certain social intervention that we do yet with the, for instance, like the grocery bags and so forth, and that we're working on the minimum wage. That we hope that before the end of this year we will implement the minimum wage, and these are the things that can help her, and also that we are doing everything possible to be able to get the economy going back again, working with even this last first quarter we had growth of over 5%. It says something that we're moving in the right direction. As I tell everybody, the best social program that we can have going in Belize is putting people back to work, and that's what we've been doing, and that I want them to understand that we're doing everything possible to make their lives better, that we every day think about them and trying to find ways to improve lives and to make it easier, and that we understand and feel for them.
Prime Minister Briceño also spoke about the Statistical Institute of Belize's recently updated methodology to estimate the country's GDP. As a result of a newly applied system, Belize's GDP for the first quarter of 2022 grew by $61 million, surpassing pre-pandemic production levels in the first quarter of 2019. It was determined that the previous method underestimated the output of several industries, like the BPO industry. Prime Minister Briceño was asked today if his administration finds the newly applied method encouraging, because it presents an overall fiscal image that is more favorable to greater borrowing. Here is how he responded.
That's not true. That's definitely not the reason why we're doing that. It is an exercise that has been being done for some time, and that the old model that we had before was not capturing all of the activity within the economy, and it's important for us to be able to capture that, to be able to measure the actual economic activity that's taking place the country, and that's what the rebasing has done in simple terms. And yes, because then it should know that the economy is bigger, obviously our debt to GDP has gone down, but that does not mean that we're going to go there and just to continue to borrow widely. We have to borrow smartly. We have to be able to borrow to invest in the right places, like in agriculture, in housing, in education, in health, and some form of infrastructure. Those are where we have to invest so that we can develop this country so that we can be more competitive in the region.
Coming up, GOB considers rehiring former Auditor General Dorothy Bradley. Details when we return.
The excise tax on diesel was $2.97, almost $3 per gallon, per US gallon back in 2020. This government has reduced that now to less than 1 cent. It's actually less than 1 cent. It's virtually zero. So for every gallon that is imported and consumed, government is losing virtually $3 in taxes per US gallon. Similarly, when it comes to regular gasoline, the price of regular gasoline has gone up so much that the excise tax on regular gasoline has come down from, I think it was $3.29 back in November 2020, and for years before that, to now 75 cents, a little less than 75 cents per US gallon. So once again, government is losing roughly $2.50 or more than $2.50 in excise tax per US gallon. So when you add that all up in terms of tax loss, government is losing $55,000 per day in lost excise taxes. These measures have been put in effect from March, to now. But just for April, May, and June, there has been more fully implemented. For April, May, and June, we have already lost in excise taxes over $8.3 million.
I've always enjoyed the different flavors of my country. Every nook and cranny has its own unique taste.
Our history, rich with culture. We've come so far since our independence. Our flag, rivers, mountains, our people, diverse and strong.
Looking back, I am proud and honored. We must continue to preserve and conserve our culture and country for the next generation.
This is our Belize. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
Welcome to RF&G Insurance's educational series. Our aim is for you to understand insurance and how it works. Today, we will be discussing the average clause. The average clause is another complicated insurance term. So let's throw back to 2005 to hear Mr. Tucker expertly explain how the average clause works on an insurance policy.
If a hurricane comes, guess who can make sure we pay 100% of your claim? You can. Let's say your house is worth $100,000, but you decide to insure only half its value, $50,000, then bam. hurricane comes, the house is heavily damaged. Repairs will cost around $50,000. Not to worry, you say. I'm insured for that amount, so that's what I'll get back from my insurance. Not so. As any insurance company will tell you, you only insured your house for half its value, so you'll receive only half the cost of repairs.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to join us for our next installment, where we will be discussing coverage on public and private roads.
There's a new Omicron subvariant now spreading in Belize, and it is characteristically more vaccine resistant than previous sublineages. And while the number of new infections is expected to rise in Belize, one reactive measure you should not expect to see is another lockdown of the country. Today, Prime Minister John Briceño told reporters assuredly that there will not be any implementation of any of the restrictions that held through for most of 2020 and 2021. That's because while it is contagious, its symptoms are less severe and don't last as long as the other more serious variants. But while the doctors in the public sector have not recommended the mandatory use of masks, one internist in the private sector feels that we should revert back to wearing our masks by law. News 5's Marian Ali has a report on what we can expect from this new variant and what we should and should not do in order to avoid catching it.
The new variant it spreads faster, but it is less it's less dangerous. And second, thirdly, the infectious rate now is down from 5 days to between 1 and 3 days. So the Ministry of Health has recommended to Cabinet yesterday to remove all the restrictions that we've had.
While the new Omicron subvariant comes with all the symptoms that other COVID variants inflict, it is not considered to be as deadly a virus as the Alpha and Delta strains. But what is unsettling about the Omicron BA.5 sublineage is that it has shown to be vaccine resistant, so we're more prone to endure the symptoms.
It's able to hide from the antibodies that you got through the natural infection and vaccines. So it's transmissible same way, but it could hide out better against the killers that your immune system develop against the virus. So that is why people can become infected again with this BA.5 in a shorter amount of time. For example, you could have had COVID 1 month ago and you could catch COVID again with this new variant. Thankfully, again, this variant, like the other Omicrons, are also not as deadly, meaning that they kill a whole lot of people or make them end up in the ICU and intubated and so.
While Prime Minister John Briceño says the government will not reintroduce any restrictions, they are advising everyone to stay safe nonetheless.
We have not made any recommendations to put back a mask mandate, but we are encouraging persons, especially in crowded indoor spaces, to take on the responsibility and wear your mask, because it's in crowded places that you tend to get infected. If somebody sneezes, if somebody starts to cough and they don't have on their mask, you need to make sure that you have on your mask.
The Ministry of Health is going to continue with a very aggressive campaign in the mask wearing when necessary, physical distancing, washing your hands, and also testing when necessary.
Internist Dr. Fernando Cuellar, a private medical practitioner, differs with the government.
I would have been the first to say, let us put mask mandatory again. Thing done. I mean, nobody will lose face, nobody will shame face. Nothing is wrong for you to say, let us step a step back again and we have put mask mandatory, okay? And continue to push the vaccine. They look at us in the medical field as being overcautious perhaps, or too jumpy, or too afraid, and I think, but let us use at least the mask. And yes, we're not close the borders or we're not restrict visitors. That not necessary at this point.
While the Omicron BA.5 variant tends to resist the antibodies it encounters in the body, there are fewer hospitalizations and deaths because it does not cause severe respiratory difficulties as previous variants. In the event there are other vaccines recommended for these subvariants as the COVID virus continues to mutate, Dr. Melissa Musa, who is now the Ministry of Health's Director of Public Health and Wellness, assured the media today that the government is already looking into working with groups with other nations to be able to access those vaccines if necessary. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
While the new vaccine-resistant Omicron variant is spreading in this region, medical professionals still advise people to go and get vaccinated. Today, the Director of Public Health and Wellness, Dr. Melissa Diaz-Musa, explained why it is important for people to still get their shots.
The literature is saying that 3 to 4 times there's the evasion of the neutralizing antibodies. That's the first defense that your body puts out. But you still have defense at that level. And of course, you have the cellular defense from both persons being infected and persons being vaccinated. So you do have significant antibody response at other levels in your system. So we have to continue to encourage vaccinations. And we do know that the COVID-19 vaccines have worked, and it has really helped to save many lives here in Belize.
PM Briceño also responded to UDP Chairman Michael Perifit's letter to Governor General Forla Salam calling for Senator Colette Montejo to vacate his seat in the upper house. As we have reported, Senator Montejo has been appointed as field supervisor for the pending redistricting exercise. The opposition is of the belief that Montejo, as the Deputy Secretary General of the People's United Party, should not serve in this capacity on the redistricting task force. Here is how the Prime Minister responded to the opposition's concern about Montejo.
Mike Perifit, Senator Perifit, obviously he's a lawyer, and obviously he does not have a lot of private work, so he has a lot of free time on his hands. So everything he wants to go to court. He's not a successful private lawyer, obviously. So he has written a letter stating that Colette Montejo should be moved from the Senate. We had legal advice when the decision was made, and the point is that Colette Montejo is a part of a task force, and that he is not even being paid to try to advise or to work with to assist, not to assist the redistricting exercise. So obviously, the case that he's trying to make, it makes no sense. So we're not really concerned about that, on that matter. I think what he needs to be concerned with is that under the laws under the Elections and Boundaries Commission, a member of the Elections and Boundaries Commission cannot be politically active. And one of their members, Mr. August, is a Secretary General and very active politically. So he should not be in the Elections and Boundaries Commission.
The government of Belize has been facing difficulties filling the Auditor General's post following the retirement of former Auditor General Dorothy Bradley in 2021. According to Prime Minister Briceño, GOB is yet to identify a suitable candidate for the post. He revealed that there is a possibility that Bradley will return to the post temporarily until a permanent hiring is made.
We are having a problem there are two problems, or several problems when it comes to hiring people at these high levels. Presently, we feel that we have not identified a person within the department that can hold that position. I think the people there need some more experience and some more work. Secondly, if we try to bring in people from the private sector, I said they're not going to work for what they're being paid for, and so they're not interested. That's always a problem that we have. And thirdly, I think the last time I had a meeting with the former Auditor General, and she has expressed interest when we asked her to come back for more, at least for another year. Then that will then allow us more time to be able to identify an Auditor General that then can take it over from there.
Prime Minister Briceño was also asked about his administration's decision to hire activist and part-time journalist Giovanni Brackett as an information consultant in the press office. In his response, the Prime Minister said he believes Brackett's employment to be a necessary hiring. He explained that Brackett was brought on to figure out the best ways in which the press office can, quote, operate in a more modern day of almost instant news, unquote.
When it comes to the issue of Giovanni Brackett, we all know that he has been a journalist and he has been also I'm trying to find the right word, a person trying to go for social change, especially with young people. I mean, and he has been very open about that. After we got into government and he came in and we spoke with him, and we believe that that he can assist us in the ministry in the press office, so to kind of change the mindset of the press office. How is it that we can operate in a modern day of almost instant news, no? And so he has been doing some work there, but also he has been doing some work with Minister Dolores Balderramos, and also with Minister Musa doing some social interventions, no? And so we do believe that it was the right decision to be able to bring him in to be able to help and with the work that we have in government.
But was it needed? Was hiring Giovanni Brackett needed?
Well, I believe that it was. That is why we hired him.
I mean, for help press office.
As I said, I believe it was. That's
press office has microdone.
Yes, he has microdone, but we also felt that Giovanni brings a different skill sets to be able to help us at the press office.
You believe the amount he's being paid is fair and worth it?
Yes.
After the break, the winning September celebrations theme comes from a teacher in Belmopan. Don't go away.
Get ready to tackle your yard with these lawn and garden products from Benny's. We have Scott's Turf Builder seed and fertilizer spreaders for thicker, richer lawns and gardens. Quench your plant's thirst with an assortment of Axi hoses and nozzles. Trimming hedges? That's easy when using Axi hedge shears. Imakasa rake and Vulcan heavy-duty lawn and leaf bags makes for easy cleanup. Keep away mosquitoes and other biting insects with the Burgess Insect Fogger. So get these lawn and garden products and more only at Benny's.
Celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Wow. You really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
Today at the House of Culture in Belize City, the National Celebrations Commission unveiled the themes selected for this year's celebrations. One of the themes submitted by Belmopan resident and teacher Cheryl Destan was successfully chosen. Valiant and bold, proud and strong, Belize rebounds at 41 is the theme for this year's September celebrations.
This year, 182 persons from all over the country submitted a total of 426 themes to the National Celebrations Commission. A subcommittee of the commission then went through each submission and selected 13 for final review by the NCC. Today, we are happy to announce that the winner of the $1,000 prize for the winning theme was submitted by a teacher from Belmopan, and she is Ms. Cheryl Destan. Now, let us unveil the theme for this year 2022 National Celebrations.
From the moment I heard, I saw actually on scrolling through Facebook, I call it the flyer for the competition. I took out a notebook and I silently said to myself, I want to be a part of this. So I began, every time something would come to my mind, I would write, I would scratch. And I said, I need to get it in before I forget. So I started to mark off, that one isn't good, that one won't work. And I ended up with 7, and I thought that 7 was a perfect number. So with my husband's help, I managed to send in my entries.
The September celebrations is a time of hope, it's a time of upliftment, of joy, of celebration. And so regardless of the challenges we are facing as individuals, as families, as communities, as a nation, we come together during this time to pay tribute to our past, to pay tribute to the journey that we have traveled as Belizeans, and to express our confidence and our hope in the future of this beautiful country.
Co-chair of the National Celebrations Commission and Minister of Culture, Francis Fonseca, asked about the symbolism of changing themes every year and whether it encourages patriotism.
We have a very proud history in Belize of celebrating our heritage, celebrating our history, our culture. And so I think that is what the September celebrations represents for me. You know, and it gives an opportunity, I think, for Belizeans from across the country to participate in this process. And so this practice of submitting themes, I think is a very good one. I think it's a very, very good one. As we mentioned at the launch, you know, hundreds of Belizeans from across the country participated. We have very young kids who take it on as a school project, to school teachers like Ms. Destan who won this year, to elderly folks, old grandmothers and grandfathers who feel that, you know, this is something they want to participate in. So I think it's absolutely important. I think it's absolutely valuable. It's good for our spirit of patriotism. And yes, true, as we go through the themes, we see that, you know, if you go back over the last 40 years or so, you'll find that they're repetitive and, you know, they, you know, many of them, we've seen before in some form or the other. But that does not take away from, I think, the importance of having this type of competition and having a team that we can all celebrate together and unite around. The T-shirts, the mugs, all the other things that we put together. I think it's absolutely good for us.
It's been 2 years that the September celebrations have been held with restrictions in place due to the COVID virus. While those restrictions have been lifted and vaccinations are readily available, there is an entirely new variant that is a cause for concern. The Omicron BA.5 variant, which is said to be able to resist the vaccine, has just been confirmed in Belize, and there are no restrictions in place for mass gatherings. But Minister of Culture Francis Fonseca says that government makes decisions based on consultations with medical and public health professionals.
We are constantly engaging with them, and we are absolutely satisfied that our celebrations this year can be carried out successfully without any threat to public health. Yes, these variants are emerging all over the world, but again, we are encouraging our people to get their boosters, to make sure you get vaccinated if you haven't gotten vaccinated as yet, and to continue to observe some of the basic protocols. It's not a free-for-all. So I think if people do that, we'll be fine. But everything we're doing, as I said, is in coordination and consultation with the Ministry of Health.
The PUP campaigned on a platform that included free education for high school students on the south side of Belize City. Now, the first phase of that pilot program is about to be rolled out under what is called the Education Upliftment Project. Together We Rise. Today, Minister of Education Francis Fonseca told reporters that the students of the 4 high schools flagged for the pilot program will not have to pay any school fees.
We're starting on the south side of Belize City with 4 government high schools: Gwen Lizaraga High School, Maud Williams High School, Excelsior High School, and Sadie Vernon High School. And what this will mean for the students who attend those institutions is that they will not have to pay any tuition fees. We are also instituting in those schools feeding programs. We're going to provide transportation. We're also, through our student welfare unit at the Ministry of Education, engaging with the families, engaging with the school communities to make sure that we can also assist students who need basic supplies, whether it be uniforms, tennis, texts, whatever. We're also providing digital devices to those students who are attending those institutions. We are also, a very important part of it as well is infrastructure development of these institutions. Many of these institutions are, in some level of disrepair.
Wendell Thurton Jr. was released from custody on Tuesday, following a decision of the Supreme Court after pleading guilty to abetment to murder and abetment to attempted murder. This is in the case of a fatal stabbing incident in January 2016 that claimed the life of 37-year-old Ian Blair. Thurton, along with 2 other suspects, were caught a short while after the crime was committed on Simon Lamb Street. What the family thought was an airtight case against the trio is seemingly unraveling before the court, as another suspect may not be fit to stand trial. It is a disappointing turn of events for the Heredia family as they continue to mourn the loss of their loved one. Earlier today, News 5 spoke with Amir Heredia, Blair's eldest sibling.
We as family members, we were hurted at the time when the incident happened. And even all those years, we still have our loved one right in here in our heart, and now to find out that they are walking free, that makes us a bit sad, because I think this judicial system in Belize have to change. They have to do something about it, because we cannot have criminals that murder people out there walking free, and then we are the one that's going to stay with that hurt for the rest of our life. I thought we were going to have justice, because when we found out that the guys got caught like about half an hour after the incident, and they found enough evidence on them, well, we said, well, when the time comes, we will see that the judicial system will give us justice for our loved one. But now it's showing me that doesn't work in Belize, Belize is too small, and I think we should get justice.
When we return, Belize defeats Nicaragua in U20 volleyball tournament. But first, here's the weather forecast with data from the Belize Met Service.
When all hope is lost and the days ahead look grim, we find ourselves looking for someone to shake things up, rescue us, and point us in the right direction. What if the one we've been waiting for has been here all along? Join us for our new series, Troublemaker, as we learn about a man who wasn't afraid to stand up for what's right to make this world a better place.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Man, you really can't get a mannequin for this, man? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Biodegradable plastics. When talking about plastic, don't you always hear people say that this plastic or that plastic is biodegradable, eco-friendly, environmentally friendly, green, or even ecological? Well, the truth is that these words and many others like them are often used to give the impression that the product is better for the environment. When shopping, the terms to look for are bio-based, compostable, or environmentally degradable plastics because they are tested against specific standards to ensure that they are broken down with minimal impacts to the environment. But what does biodegradable really mean? To put it simply, it is the breakdown of something into water, carbon dioxide, and biomass by the action of living organisms, usually bacteria or fungus. However, people call some plastics biodegradable, but they never fully break down because they still contain plastics made from petroleum or inorganic material. The plastics just break down into tinier pieces called microplastics, which then enter the food cycle through the ingestion by animals that people eat. Don't be fooled, check your labels. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Make we one house at a time, make we count for the 2022 census. One house at a time, make we count, work towards the future, everybody count. We need information and your cooperation. Everybody in the Belize population. Mommy, daddy pick me on the senior section. Plus we need help from the youth population. From all over, we need data to measure development in every area. Every aspect in a Belizean culture. 88, 67, every border. Make we count for the 2022 census. One house at a time, make we count. Work towards the future, everybody count.
The 2022 Population and Housing Census. Participate, respond, be counted.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
To vote for your favorite contestant, smart users will text the number of votes followed by a space and the contestant's number and send to smart code 5885. Each vote costs 50 cents. Voting ends on Sunday at midnight.
Belize's under-21 female volleyball selection emerged victorious on Tuesday night, following a match with Team Nicaragua. With the first win under their belt, our girls are prepared to face more difficult competition as the tournament progresses. This afternoon, we caught up with the team briefly at the Civic Center, where they discussed the outcome of Game 1. Sofia Solano is the team captain.
Well, I think all of us were just filled with joy. We were ecstatic. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. We've been training for this. You know, we've been working really hard, and to see the fruits of our efforts in that first game, which is usually like the tension-breaking game, I think it was really amazing that the whole team was able to come together and just express so much joy that our work paid off.
This team was supposed to be one of the lower-ranking teams of the tournament, so we do expect it to get harder, but obviously my team isn't here to play any games. We're here to, you know, win and bring home the gold.
Me personally, I think I could have done better. I do great in practice. I just think in the first set I felt personally that I was scared to like hit, so I was like tricking and rolling a lot. But then after that, like my first hit, it went good and I got more confidence and more engaged into the game.
Today, the media was called out to the MCC grounds in Belize City, where close to 100 young children ages 4 to 16 were engaged in the Stars football camp carried out by Coach Stanley Renaud through support from SMART. The participants in the grassroots program have been attending the camp for the past 2 weeks, and on Thursday, they'll be putting those skills to the test. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
It went on a 2-year hiatus due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but the Stars football camp, organized annually at the MCC grounds in Belize City, returned with a bang. Over 90 children have been attending the camp since July 4th and have been learning the fundamentals of the sport.
Okay, we have 3 categories. We have age 4 to 8 years old, and then we have 9 to 12 years old, and we have 12 to 16 years old.
Let's talk about what they've been learning over the past 2 weeks.
It's grassroots, basic football skills. Basic. We do dribbling, passing. We try to put them in mini games, small sided game. With the bigger one, we do a little expanding side. It was like every day we have new kids coming to us, want to be in the camp. Nobody has been turned back. If anybody is turned back and anything happens to them going home, myself, and I think everybody in Belize will feel away. So the 2 hours they are here per day, I'm very glad.
SMART has been the main sponsor of this camp, which has seen its participants grow up to become members of the National A team of the Football Federation of Belize. Marketing Supervisor Adelaide Sabida says that they began partnering with the program back in 2009.
We didn't expect 90 kids, especially due to, COVID still being around, not as much as the past 2 years, but we were kind of hesitant to go overboard, thinking that parents would not be comfortable to bring out their kids. But the first day we came, we ran out of water. With just the size of the kids that were here, we knew that we needed to boost up our efforts. Why we continue to do this? Why we continue to do this? Well, I'm a pharma teacher, and I know the aspirations and goals of our youths are limitless, right? They are willing to go above and beyond for their dreams. And I'm now with SMART, and the company, one of our biggest focal points over the years, over our 17 years, is sports. Sports, cultural activities. We have always been at the forefront. 2 of the athletes who played with our A national team, Mr. Jovan Ramos and Elden Renaud, is from here. They went with us. Remember, every year after our camp, we usually just take
3 to 5 kids to a camp, a Barcelona camp in Miami. And out all of those kids, like out of those 20 kids, we have 6 playing on our A national team.
While majority are boys, 6% of the participants are girls. But it's the takeaway for these children that's priceless. They proudly share with News 5 what they have learned over the past 2 weeks.
Skills, passing, friendship, don't fight.
You've always loved football, play football. How long have you been playing football?
4 years.
4 years?
I like to stay fit, and I wanted to learn football because it's a lot of running, and I have my brother here with me, and also my dad. He play football, and he gone in the championship, so I wanted to be like him.
I've been playing football for like 3.5 years now. I came to the camp to learn more because you can never learn enough, but I came to learn more discipline, to learn more, to make more friends, and just to have fun.
I've been playing football for 5 to 6 years from I was 5 years old, and I came to the camp to develop and get more better.
Talk to us about what the experience has been like.
The experience is good and I like it. I think I'm coming back next year.
Yeah. What have you been learning?
I've been learning football is about patience and talking to your teammates.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The National Trade Negotiation Commission held its 4th session on Tuesday. The meeting was co-chaired by Chief Executive Officer Amalia Mai of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. The commission was brought up to speed on the progress made in the 3rd round of the ongoing negotiations with Guatemala to expand the Belize-Guatemala partial scope agreement. Both countries improved their respective goods offer during that round of negotiations. However, further engagements are needed to advance market access for agricultural products of export interest. The meeting also focused on consultations and preparations for subsequent rounds of negotiations scheduled to take place virtually this month. Emil Mena represented the private sector. Earlier, we heard Minister of Education Francis Fonseca speak about the rollout of government's free education for the Southside program. The minister explained that the program will include more and more schools with each passing year. But he also spoke with us about a countrywide summer program entitled Let's Catch Up that the ministry is holding, all focused on filling the gaps that the COVID-19 pandemic created when schools had to be shut down.
That has been received very well. We're very, very pleased with the results of that program. But a lot more work to be done, and I remain absolutely concerned about the state of our education system, and in particular about the learning gaps that have developed over the last few years. Losing almost 2 years of education, face-to-face education, meaningful education, can have a dramatic effect and very negative effect on the development of young people. So, we are very concerned about that. Everything we're doing at the Ministry of Education is focused on catching up, on filling those gaps that have been left behind because of these 2 years. So a lot of work is going on in that regard.
Just ahead, a recap of Week 1 KTV The Remix Season 4.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package includes 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.ssecurity.org. www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
In 2018, before I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was at the size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney. So I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25. And then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back, she checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters. And I went back for the next 10 days. And after that, when she checked it again, she said, oh, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, but it's a machine that you go under, and they have like a circular, and that goes 5 times. You will take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
Make your summer better. Over $35,000 in cash and prizes with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Here's how you can enter for a chance to win. Purchase any device, sign up for a smart postpaid, broadband, or VoIP plan, use $50 or more regular prepaid credit, do a SIM swap, or text to the short code. You win 8946. And in the body of the message, enter the number of entries you would like to purchase. Each entry costs only 50 cents.
Don't waste any time. You can be the winner of weekly prizes starting July 1st. All methods give you more chances to win. Airline tickets, overnight stays at numerous resorts, cash prizes, gift certificates, and much, much more. One lucky person will win the grand prize of a $10,000 shopping spree courtesy Court and Smart.
Promotion ends September 16, 2022. So make your summer better by getting in the race to win with Smart Summer Sweepstakes. Smart, bringing people together.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
And so it begins. On Tuesday night at the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts, the country was introduced to the 12 participants who made the cut for KTV The Remix Season 4. It was a long-awaited return of the entertainment show after a 2-year break due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This cohort performed individual songs, and they also paired up for 6 duets as a new feature of the show. There was no shortage of talent as KTV The Remix recorded its first perfect score in week 1, which was won by Lisa Hemmons Rabatu. For those who missed the show, here's a recap of the 12 performers.
He's crazy for believing that I'll never leave the ground. He said only angels know how to fly. And with my broken wing, I still sing. I guess that's why they call it the blue. Time on my hands would be time spent with you, laughing like children living like lemon, rolling like thunder. Under
every day's a little harder as I feel my power grow. Don't you know this part of me that longs to go into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown.
So please don't judge me, and I won't judge you. If you love me, let it be beautiful. Just let the past just be the past, and focus on things that are gonna make us laugh. Take me as I am and not who I was.
Put my arm around and show you that I am. I'm unstoppable. I'm a Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Yeah, I win every single game. I'm so powerful. I don't need batteries to play. I'm so confident. Yeah, I'm unstoppable today.
lost in the blue, they don't love me like you do. Those chills that I knew, they were nothing without you. And everyone else, they don't matter now. You're the one I can't lose.
Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your head on my beating heart. I'm thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are.
Not really sure how to feel about it. Something in the way you move, it makes me feel like I can't live without you. But it takes me all the way. I want you to stay.
Parecen murmurar mil cosas sin hablar, y yo que estoy aquí sentado frente, me siento desangrar sin poder conversar.
Cause you only need the light when it's burning low. Only miss the sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Only know you've been high when you're feeling low. Only hate the road when you're missing home. Only know you love her when you let her go.
Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith would be made stronger. And
So can you feel the love tonight? Oh, it is where we are, and it's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer. There we got this far.
Remember to vote for your favorite participant by text. 2 will be eliminated in the next round. Voting concludes on Sunday at midnight. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.